Hello everyone. Okay, so the idea behind today's painting basically is a fire like spiral and a ice themed spiral that meet together in the middle and then swirl out in two different directions. You'll see what I mean. During the editing process of this video, I noticed lots of things that I would have done differently if I were to do this painting again. And this art form, well, pretty much any art form, it's a constant learning process. And to help you guys out, I will identify what those things are throughout the video that I would have done differently, and that I do or do not recommend you doing. So at the very beginning, you saw me very, very lightly drizzling the red spiral off of a stir stick and then going over that with a cup. The reason for using the stir stick first was to get to make sure I had the placement of where I wanted that spiral correct before laying down a heavier line of paint by pouring directly out of the cup. Now, thing number one that I would have done differently is I would have used less colors. I haven't counted exactly how many colors I used, but it's more than I should have. I do know that there is like 2 different reds, there's 2 different oranges, 2 different yellows, gold, white, which is necessary. And I even drizzled a little bit of black at the very end during some of the blowouts. And the black didn't help anything. I used the black to kind of break up the color, so it wouldn't just be solid color, but it kind of just made it look muddy in a way some of the time. Now, the reason why I say some of the blowouts is because this was not an easy process. And I was not getting the results I wanted easily. And so I kept redoing it and, going over it and over it again. And so you'll see throughout the process of the video, I redo this fire spiral several times, sometimes all of it, sometimes parts of it, sometimes, at one point I even scrape half the thing off and go about it again, re-pour and re-blow. Second thing I wouldn't have done, which is what I'm doing right now, and it kind of goes along with the first thing, but it's still something that is worth mentioning. After pouring all those other colors I just poured, you see me pouring red as the last color. However, that is an opaque red. I believe that one is cadmium red DPU, and this hindsight being 2020, that's not a smart choice to pour on top, as the last color on top of all these other colors, because then all the other colors are going to be hidden if that red takes over too much. I thought it would just, I want the red to be very prominent, but it ended up being too prominent. And you will see that in just a second whenever I blow this out. Thing number 3. I have 2 different blow dryers that I use, but this one is smaller. It's smaller than my other one. The other one is my favorite. It's my main one, but because I needed to be able to fit 2 different colored spirals onto this canvas, I thought it'd be a better idea to use a smaller one that also isn't as powerful, and the concentrator nozzle isn't as wide, and so which was the main reason why I chose to use this one. But I love the way my other one blows so much better, and I use it here and there in this painting, and I'll point out the difference whenever I use that one next. But it just blows, it always blows out my paint in a different way than this one does, and it's also stronger because that one is 1875 watts. This one is only 1000 watts, and I use both of which I use on the low setting. But yeah, it just, so I really feel like I should have just gone with my tried and true purple one. And so that's thing number 3 that I have noticed I should have done differently. And like I mentioned before about the red taking over, you saw me pour all those different colors, but the main one that you see now is just red. It doesn't have the depth to it that I wanted it to have. And the reason why I poured some more black and I'm kind of making that, I'm blowing it back into the color, is because this one got blown out a little too wide, and I realized that I wouldn't have room for the other spiral if I didn't do some adjustments. And so I blew some black into it, and now I'm re-pouring the colors. Now I like the color combination that I went with this time. And you see me use my other blow dryer, and like, that looks so much better, doesn't it? And it looks more fire-like. It, everything. What I'm doing right now though is I am blowing in a certain way to where it will create some wispies around the edges. As you can see, some fire-like little wispies. Now, right now, the reason why I'm redoing the inner part of the spiral is because I checked my consistencies before I did this, and so I'm honestly not 100% sure why they kept sinking underneath the black, because I know how to prevent that. But the inner part of the spiral kept kind of sinking under the black a little bit, and so I'm redoing that part. And for some reason I also added to the rest of the spiral, which I feel like I kind of should have just left it alone, but the outer edges have started kind of sinking under the black as well, and so I think I had it in my head to just, I'll just do it all over again. But now, because I'm overworking it, you can see the inner part of the spiral is really starting to get muddy. And a lot of that has to also do with the black that I put in it earlier. And so it's kind of getting out of hand now, and you'll see my solution to that here in a second. By the way, real quick, if you are not already subscribed, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video if you like what you see. I was freaking covered in paint after this, and I thought it was funny. So that's why I'm showing you guys. Alright, here's the finished result. I'm not honestly the biggest fan of the one that's supposed to represent fire. And now that all is said and done, I wish I would have done them both in blue, or at least maybe like the other one in like purple or something that instead of contrast to blue complements it instead. Once this is dry, I'm going to go back in with like a brush and fix that spiral in the middle and make it look a lot better. I love, love, love the blue. And it gave me way less problems than the other one did. Like, oh, look at that. And I did not use any Floetrol in this, actually. I usually do, but I made my pouring medium different for this one because I didn't want a lot of cells. Like, not especially a bunch of those like little cells that I tend to get with the Floetrol. The red one I think looks all wonky just because it got overworked, because it was giving me a hard time. I got to a point where I wanted to just leave it alone and let it do what it was going to do, and then fix whatever needed to be fixed afterwards. But God, look at that blue though. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. All right, have a good day. Bye.